There we go. All right, recording is started, and this is the July 27th, 2023 Crossplane community meeting. By far, the most important news of the day is, as of an hour ago, we shipped the 1.13 release. So this is a nice milestone here with a bunch of really cool stuff in it. And it's very, very fresh and hot off the presses here. So just within the last hour, the Ezgi and Philippe finished, going through the release process and publishing everything. There is a whole blog post. Uh-oh, that doesn't look right. Let me see. What's wrong with that link? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's okay, cool. Ezgi or Philippe, if you could update the link in the release notes to the blog post, that'd be perfect. Sweet, thank you. Yes, so there's a whole blog post to read about everything. Just kind of the high level big news items here, though, is as we've talked about on this community meeting, we do have two new maintainers within this milestone, Bob and Philippe, and they've already started contributing heavily, and super happy to have them on the team. Really big news too is that we finished our security audits. That is a big part of the maturing process to get to full graduation with the CNCF. And so the folks on the AdaLogix team worked with us for the last couple of months, and with Philippe specifically. Philippe was the largest part by far from the Crossplane community and team working on it. But we went through a full audit there, found 16 issues in total, and then got everything there fixed and merged, and part of the patch releases for all the currently supported releases of Crossplane, and included in the 1.13 milestone as well. So that was really big news, and there's a specific blog post for that one as well if you want to read more about it. And let's hope this link works. It does. So all the details about the security audit can be read about on the blog as well. A big feature that was put in was the ignore changes ability. You can think of that as an extension of the observe only resources API, where you can say, hey, for these use the management policies that would enable you to do observe only resources. You can also use those to enable you to ignore certain changes, such as like if a cluster autoscaler wants to change your node counts in your cluster, you can tell Crossplane to just ignore that. So that will be available. That gets released as part of the providers. The core functionality in Crossplane runtime is already there and it's published and all that stuff. But the user-facing ability to consume this functionality is going to be in the official, in providers that we're going to be released fairly soon. We also end-to-end testing framework, which is running on every EPR now and every commit to master with a series of tests that are continuing to be invested in over time. So I really like that from the perspective of maintaining our quality bar and making sure that we don't have regressions and all that. So it's really nice to be testing at a higher level, at the integration level there, as opposed to just our unit tests, and make sure that coverage continues to expand as well. Composition functions are continuing to be invested in. I think folks have seen the proposal for improving the developer experience on that as well. So a lot of progress was made on this milestone, and we're expecting to mature it to beta in the 1.14 timeframe. And then also, if we all recall here early in the 1.13 milestone, we went through a process of updating how we package and build providers to kind of break them apart into smaller service scoped ones. So that was part of the 1.13 timeframe as well. And I know there's been a lot of relief on people in clusters for people that have adopted that. So a lot of exciting things on 1.13, and I'll just keep accepting these ones here. Is there anything else that folks wanted to call out in 1.13, especially folks that were heavily involved in it, that I didn't touch on yet? All right. Well, either way, though, we could be definitely proud of that release, and it's really nice to get that out the door here. And so, we can kind of be happy with what we've accomplished today. And I know that the community and the ecosystem as a whole will be benefiting from it. So great work, everybody, on getting that release out. And I know it was a lot of efforts, and thanks for everybody's efforts that we put into it. So the let's look real quick at the 1.13 release board just to see what's still lingering there. So Philippe, what is left for us to go ahead and close out the audit issue? Is there anything big left?
No, I just forgot to close, but I will do that.
Sweet, awesome. So yeah, let me close that out. The 1.13 release issue. So there's a couple lingering things at the very end here, right? Ezgi, nothing else you know of that still needs to be done?
Nope, those are the two things remaining.
Sweet. All right, so that's almost done as well. And then I guess Lovro, do you want to? We'll wait to close this until we actually have a provider release with this.
Yeah. Let's close it then. So
cool, man.
Yeah. So
do you want to update us about the timeline on that?
Yeah, the provider releases should go out on Monday. I mean, the changes for init provider, this is the last thing left. It was approved by Hassan, and I had a discussion today with Alper, and I hope soon we will merge this for both object and the providers. So the official providers should support general management policies together with the init providers on Monday.
Awesome. So that is not very far away at all. That's just a few days away. So then that puts us in really good position for everything here that's, kind of within the realm of the 1.13 milestone will be closed out, and we will be in great shape there. So then that kind of sets us up for 1.14 and going into that. I think that, we've had a fairly well-defined roadmap for a little bit now. So I think that like what is planned in the 1.14 timeframe is probably no real surprises there if you've been following along with the roadmap over the past month or so. So I think maybe the only thing really to mention here, and I think next community meeting, once we've officially started the 1.14 milestone and timeline for that, then we can dive more into this. But I think we'll also see some advancements on a couple of other things that are scheduled for kind of like wrapping up or release in 1.15. We'll be making some progress along those as well. But like notably, Predrag is making progress on the design for cross-resource references. I think that's in the agenda for later on today. And then like developer experience stuff, I think is going to be a big focus for us as well. Not sure exactly what's going to ship there, but making progress in 1.14 in addition to all of these other fairly highly demanded and important and impactful features will all be kind of included in the 1.14. So I think that's shaping up to be a pretty impactful, pretty big release as well, which we will be diving more into as we get into the cycle for that. Reminder that our releases are quarterly, so that will be late October is when we're scheduled to do this release. So we've got plenty of time left in that because we literally shipped 1.13 today. Any things to note for roadmap 1.14, 1.13, any milestone related stuff that folks want to bring up? All right, then we can keep on moving on here. In terms of provider releases, I didn't get a chance to look through to see if there are recent provider releases, but as Lovro was just mentioning, I think there is expected to be a swath of provider releases on Monday. Is that right, Lovro and Sean?
Yeah. This is the pen date. Jean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, you're correct.
And is there other things to note in those provider releases besides the ignore changes abilities?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few updates to Object that's being made right now. Alper's not on the call, otherwise he could have given us a big update. But this is in line with our big focus around performance. And there's a few optimizations that are coming in this round of releases, and more to come down the line.
Awesome. So I'm going to take a note of that. Big release professional providers on Monday. Was that the 31st? Is that right? All right, and I also wanted to call out that because I think this was since the last community meeting. I honestly can't remember, but some lovely folks contributed the Openstack Provider that had some traction, in their own fork, in their own GitHub organization. So Jacob was driving that, and so that is now available in the in the Crossplane contrib org as a neutral place for everyone from the community to be collaborating upon that together. And we are taking the steps right now, so it should be pretty darn soon to get that published to the marketplace as well. So that'll be an easy place to find and explore, discover, and download and install that provider. But thanks very much to Jacob for contributing that and getting that as part of the community set of providers. All right, cool. Let's move on down then to the community topics then. So in terms of content here, there's a whole bunch of pieces recently. We looked at briefly the blog post for 1.13 that goes over everything that was included in that milestone. So do feel free to check that out. We talked about the security audits blog post as well that goes into all the details about what we found in the security audits, what we fixed, and all that sort of stuff. The CNCF picked up that blog post and reposted it onto their blog as well. So that's cool to see the CNCF kind of making a little bit of noise about that accomplishment as well. We talked last time recently too about the Crossplane Community Day of talks that we're doing. And so this call for proposals is still open. And then you can read more details about that there. We had a recent Crossplane frequently asked question blog post as well about how to manage your connection details in your compositions and such, which is useful, and some other stuff as well. So these are all the interesting, pieces of content and things that are going on that, folks writing about the project. If anybody has other links, feel free to add them here as a suggestion. I'll make sure to get that accepted into the doc also. So as I was just mentioning, but I want to go into a little bit more detail about it though, is that, we are planning an event for, I think September 19th, I think it is. Yeah, September 19th. And so we have an open call for speakers right now about for anybody who wants to share their experience with Crossplane, share their story, share their practical knowledge, whatever it may be. We're super open for interesting ideas for talks. One thing that had been causing a bit of confusion for everybody, I've heard, is that we forgot to mention how long the talks will be. So if you are submitting an idea here, you should plan for your talk being about 15 minutes long. Those will be the session links that we have. So do plan accordingly in terms of what content that you'll be able to go over in that time. And then the CFB closes on August 2nd. So I think it's 6 days from now. So it's Wednesday of next week. And then within 2 weeks from there, we will send out notifications for all the talks that were accepted. I know there's been some really cool talks that have been submitted already, but there's certainly room for more. And if anybody has any questions or wants some feedback on your proposal or anything like that, just reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to provide any sort of guidance or feedback about that. Happy to spend time on that. Cool. And then the last agenda item we had in the community section here was that we haven't made a lot of noise about this yet, but we'll be talking about it a little bit more. But I kind of wanted to get it out to this audience of folks here at the community meeting, is that we're doing another community survey to get more information about, or feedback really, about how folks are using Crossplane, what their problems and concerns and challenges with it are, and all that sort of stuff. So there will be more noise made about this soon, but if you want to right now, you're more than welcome to click this link here and share your feedback in that community survey thing form there. And then what I'm thinking to do here also is that folks that want, I think it'll be really useful to have some high bandwidth discussions here as well. So folks that, you know, kind of get some information and feedback submitted in that survey here, if you're open to chatting with me or other members of the maintainer team or steering committee, whatever, to kind of have a discussion and learn more and really kind of listen to everybody, I'm certainly excited to do that. So this is one way to get that process started is, you know, do the survey and we can hopefully meet and talk more and then, you know, get more good ideas coming to the project to make sure everyone's heard. Cool. So that's everything I had for the community topics here. I think the drastically the big thing today is 1.13. So still super happy about that. So let's go ahead on to Predrag for the cross-resource references proposal that you've got going on. Do you want to share your screen, Predrag, to kind of talk through it a little bit, or?
Well, I mean, I didn't plan. I mean, I was just wanted to share with people that this PR is open, and since a week ago, and we have already started discussion there. So I just invited the community member to visit the PR, and if they have any concerns or any feedback they would like to share with us, that would be really helpful. Yeah, that's all what I wanted to announce.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to see, just look real quick. I'll put it on the screen here just to see what the proposal looks like, so people can get kind of a quick visual of what this looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we are basically proposing a way to reference fields in an arbitrary Kubernetes resource. This is helpful in some cases where the current established convention, where we have like reference field, and in the reference field is basically embedded the kind of the external resource and the path where the value is found, so we can kind of relax that and configure the runtime or the deployment time. So basically that's the idea and the proposal. So we're still not clear if the approach described currently in the proposal will be the final one, but it's already good basis for the discussion.
Nice, Frederick. I really do like, and I appreciate here that this design is being done fairly early in the milestone also. So we'll have time to think about it, to kind of make sure that we're getting everybody aligned here and that the API is looking good. And then before we do implementation in the 1.15 time.
Right.
Cool, man. Awesome. Yeah, great work, dude.
Thanks.
All right. So I think that's everything we actually had on the agenda for today. It was a little bit of a light agenda since it was a big scramble to get the 1.13 and security audits and everything done there. So all that is done and out, and so there's not a lot more to talk about in terms of like what's left, what do we have to do, all this sort of stuff. So I think next time we'll talk more deeply through the 1.14 milestone and what we're planning there. But the floor is open here if anybody has something to add to the agenda that did not get put into the doc yet. All right. Then if that is everything that folks wanted to chat about, then we can go ahead and adjourn and get some time back early today. But once again, congratulations and thank you very much to everybody for a successful 1.13 release and successful security audit and all that stuff. A lot to be celebrating today. So great work, everybody, and thank you.
Thanks. Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.